Are influencers a problem? And is college worth it? In this video, Simon Sinek talks about enjoying the benefits of their position without making the necessary efforts to contribute something back.
There's nothing wrong with hierarchy. I mean, human beings are naturally hierarchical animals. We're constantly organizing ourselves into hierarchies. You sit in a meeting, you judge who's more senior, who's the alpha. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is the responsibility that goes with being an influencer or an alpha or a leader, which is, biologically, anthropologically, our leaders are supposed to look after us. It's like a parent, right? And so, though people want the perks of influencer, they want the money, they want the fame, they want the recognition. The problem is what are you willing to give back? Are you doing these things just for yourself? You're doing these things. I get this question all the time. Hey Simon, I want to be a public speaker. How do I get into the industry? And my question is, well, what's your message? Well, I don't know yet. So wait. So why do you want to be a public speaker? Like I never wanted to be a public speaker. By the way, I still don't want to be a public speaker. What I want to do is spread a message, something that I desperately believe in. And so, there used to be a time where people got famous because of their contribution. You were a political leader, or you were a scientist, or you climbed Mount Everest. Like we admired you and you got your alpha status. You became sort of an influencer because of your contribution to something. And now we live in a world where you can become an influencer with no contribution whatsoever. You can hack the system, get more followers, all the rest of it. Even entertainers entertain us. And so, the question is why do you want to be an influencer? Great, you want to be an influencer. Why do you want to be an influencer? Right. What is so important that you're willing to sacrifice all kinds of things to do something for someone else? And you choose to use YouTube or whatever, medium to spread your message. And I think you have to know what you stand for and you have to know why you're going into it. Otherwise, it's totally a selfish pursuit. And you may have some short-term success, but eventually we'll move on to the next shiny object. If you want to have lasting influence, if you want to maintain the capacity to inspire people, you have to stand for something. I'm not a fan of sort of binary assessments. College is bad. Mm-hmm. You don't need it. College, everyone should go to college. Well, I think it depends. There are some people who are extremely entrepreneurial, who are extremely disciplined to get the things done they need to get done, and may have had a life experience that taught them some things that have given them a leg up at a younger age. They're the ones saying, I didn't need college, so you don't need college. That's not entirely true. To your point, Andronica, I think college provides more than simply knowledge. I mean, am I using the knowledge from most of the classes that I took in college? Absolutely not, completely useless. But what else did I get in college? To your point, I learned how to learn. I learned how to pose an argument, to question an authority figure who has more education than me in a constructive way. I learned how to debate. I learned how to disagree constructively. I learned how to fend for myself a little bit. Grew up in a nice home, nuclear family, and this was my first experimentation with independence. When I didn't have somebody to make me get out of bed in the morning, that would I actually show up to class if I was fully responsible for myself? And I think it's like a halfway house between sort of nurture and adulting. And there's much more to college. And I think one of the big ones is interpersonal, where you're learning how to interact with other people who don't look like you, didn't come from your neighborhood, didn't go to your school, have a completely different experience. And I think these are all fantastic opportunities, and you can screw up a lot in college because it's like I said, it's practice, it's a halfway house. Of course, I think something needs to be done for the amount of money that it costs, and to put yourself in debt. I think one of the big complaints against my argument was like, why should I put myself in such debt for life experience? Mm-hmm. I concur. Something definitely needs to be done for that. But I don't think it's so binary, college good, college bad. I think it depends, and I think there's more value to college than some of the trends that people are espousing lately. I think there's a lot of value.
Author, speaker, and leadership specialist Simon Sinek has voiced his concern about the influencers in today's culture. In his opinion, influencers can be a concern since they might promote materialism and shallowness and harm our mental and emotional well being. Influencers frequently advocate for a lifestyle that is out of reach for the common individual, which is one of the biggest problems with them. They promote expensive goods and experiences that are out of reach of the majority of their followers, which can cause low self esteem and feelings of inadequacy. Additionally, it can be hard and stressful to always try to stay up with the newest trends and designs, which can have a bad effect on our mental health. The fact that influencers frequently put their own interests above those of their followers is another issue. They might advertise goods or services that aren't really useful or necessary just because they are being paid to do so. This may result in a lack of credibility and trust, which can make it challenging for customers to make wise judgments. It's crucial to remember that not all influencers pose a threat. Some influencers make use of their platform to spread uplifting ideas and to increase public awareness of significant topics. They could utilize their power to inspire their followers to support deserving organizations or make positive life changes. In conclusion, even though influencers can be problematic in some circumstances, it would be unfair to generalize about all influencers. Each person is responsible for selecting and evaluating the influencers they choose to pay attention to, as well as for selecting the goods and services they wish to invest in. We may make use of this tremendous instrument to better our lives and the world around us by being aware of the possible hazards of social media influence. It is natural to want to sit at the head of the table, but that position carries with it obligations. The issue with the majority of influencers is that they enjoy the benefits of their position without making the necessary efforts to contribute something back. Simon Sinek has addressed the issue of whether or not college is worthwhile. According to Sinek, a college education should focus on both personal development and the acquisition of information and skills. Sinek understands that going to college is an expensive investment that can leave you with a lot of debt, but he thinks the advantages far outweigh the drawbacks. He contends that higher education offers the chance to develop the critical thinking, problem solving, and communication skills that are necessary for success in the modern world. Additionally, college offers students a supportive network of peers and mentors that can be helpful in shaping one's personality and sense of self. Sinek acknowledges that not everyone is good fit for college, though. Some people could decide against going to college because they cannot afford it or because they have other commitments in their lives. Sinek emphasizes the significance of following one's hobbies and interests, whether or not they necessitate a college degree. Furthermore, Sinek acknowledges that in today's society, the value of a college education is shifting. Many jobs that once required a college degree may no longer do so with the rise of automation and artificial intelligence. According to Sinek, schools and institutions must adjust to these changes by emphasizing teaching creativity, empathy, and other hand to automate qualities. In conclusion, Sinek thinks that for those who can afford it and who are enthusiastic about learning and personal development, going to college is worthwhile. He does admit that not everyone should attend college and that there are other ways to succeed in life. In the end, one should choose to go to college based on their own objectives and aspirations rather than peer pressure or cultural expectations. Naturally, some college dropouts who have achieved great success will warn us that college is not worth the expense, and that may be the case for some of us. However, important choices like whether or not to pursue a college education cannot be reduced to a straightforward binary. Hope you liked the video. For more video, like these and please subscribe.